Hello and welcome to this comparison video between the Canon 85mm f1.2 and the Canon 85mm f1.8. The first thing we really need to touch on is the huge difference in price. The Canon 85mm f1.8 goes for about $340, whereas the 1.2 goes for over $1,400. That's a huge difference in price. You can see they're the same focal length and they have very similar apertures, but they are very different lenses because the L lens, the f1.2, is so much bigger than the smaller 1.8 lens, and partly the reason for that is going to be it has much more glass to gather more light for the bigger aperture. But is the huge difference in size, weight and price worth it? Well, that's what we're going to look at today in this comparison. So looking at the back, you can see both have metal mounts, both have quite standard features there. They are prime lenses. Both lenses have autofocus, manual focus, and they have a depth scale as well for focusing. So here you can see both lenses have a focus wheel for manual focusing, and they have a depth scale for focusing as well. The 1.2 lens has more aperture values on to get better depth of field guide. So not only is there a difference in price, but there's a difference in weight. The f1.8 is just over 400 grams. Whereas the f1.2 is just under a kilogram, so it's more than double the weight of the f1.8 lens. It's a huge difference. So I'm using these on a full frame camera, and the full frame 5D weighs just under a kilogram as well, maybe 950 grams. So that means putting the lens on the camera and moving around with it, we're going to be using just under 2 kilograms for just the lens and the body, which is quite a lot for a day's shoot, and that's really quite a heavy combination of lens and camera. So in terms of autofocusing, with the 1.2, it will only focus, and this is even in manual focusing, when the camera is on. And you can also see that the front element moves in and out. Now I don't think those two things are particularly ideal, and the autofocus is rather slow on this lens. So for the Canon 85mm f1.8, let's have a look at its focusing, and it focuses a lot faster and the front element doesn't move in and out. And using it, you can notice that it does focus slightly faster. So let's do some comparisons between images in real world shooting scenarios. So here we've got the f1.2, and I've put this lens at f1.8, and we can see we get a lovely, really nice image. And here's the 1.8 lens, and again it's set at 1.8, and the image isn't quite as good frame to frame, but it's still pretty nice. Here we go again. So here we've got the f1.2 again, nice image. Here we have the 1.8 and a very, very similar image. I don't really see a great deal of difference between these in terms of bokeh and blur and sharpness. Background looks lovely in the f1.2 here. And background, not quite as sharp corner to corner in the f1.8, but still quite usable. So we have the 1.2, we have a lovely image. Close up, it looks like it's slightly out of focus, and here we have the 1.8, again very good image, and it looks slightly sharper, but I'm putting that down to autofocusing issues rather than anything with the lens. It's quite difficult to always obtain focus at f1.8, and it's quite difficult to always obtain accurate focus at f1.8. What's my thoughts, conclusions and recommendations? Well, the f1.2 lens is the better lens, but I really can't see the justification for spending almost £1,000 more. In terms of lightness and cost, I think you would have to go, or a sensible person would go with the f1.8 lens every time. I've done a review of the f1.2 lens and you can see that here. Thank you. Goodbye.